This is our Radeon HD 5450. Released in September of 2009, it struggled to play demanding games at acceptable frame rates and settings even then. Now, just over 7 years later, can we run any games at all? Our $10 graphics card may surprise you. This card was designed as a cheap alternative to onboard graphics, or for systems with no graphics card at all. Its core clock runs at only 650 MHz and the GDDR3 VRAM runs at 800 MHz. As you can tell, this card is very slow and is certainly not made for gaming. For reference, it is 2562% slower than my GTX 760. On the bright side, it only uses about 19 watts. Other system specs include my G3258 overclocked to 4.2 GHz and 8 GB of DDR3 RAM. We'll be testing mostly esports games like League of Legends, but we'll also try Crysis as well just for fun. First up is CSGO. I like to test this game on lower end systems because it's extremely easy to run and it is also one of the most popular games right now. We played the game on low settings at 720p and got a fairly good result. We achieved an average of 44 frames per second, a minimum of 23, and a maximum of 158. There are some annoying frame drops when we start shooting, but overall I would say it's playable. For CSGO enthusiasts though, this is probably too low to really be competitive. Next up is League of Legends. This game ran remarkably well and much better than I expected. On 1080p and low settings we averaged around 60 frames per second, which is quite smooth. The minimum frames per second we got was 37, which is still very playable. Even more surprising were the results when we dropped the resolution to 720p. At 720p, we were able to average an astonishing 150 frames per second. I will personally keep it at 1080p though, as the textures look a bit odd on 720p. If you've been enjoying the video so far, consider leaving a like or subscribing as it really helps out the channel. But can it run Crysis? Way back in 2007, when this game was first released, it was considered the tool to see if a graphics card was any good. It's been over 9 years since its release, and my GTX 760 still can't maintain an ultra settings 1080p 60fps experience. But how about our 5450? Our average frame rates were actually pretty good on low settings at 720p, sitting around 31 fps. However, when we started shooting, the frame rate dropped to around 14, which is a bit too low for my liking. I guess it would still be possible to play if you really wanted to though. Lastly, we played Skyrim. Once again, I was surprised with the performance we achieved. On low settings at 720p, we managed to average around 26 FPS and a minimum of 17. Not amazing, but this game is more demanding than those esports games we tested. In conclusion, for a $10 graphics card, it performed pretty well. However, most integrated graphics cards nowadays are faster than it. For example, my G3258's integrated graphics card easily beat it in every game, as you can see in this video above. This card would be at home in a PC build for very old games though. Its low power consumption means it can be used in pretty much any old PC. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you have any questions or video suggestions, don't hesitate to leave it in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video.